Hello, my name is Nadine Farris and I'm International Business Development Director at Inclusive Technology. Myself and my colleague Ian Loughlin look forward to introducing Inclusive Technology and providing an overview of Cosmo, and then I will hand over to Ian to provide an overview of Skyle for iPad Pro. So who are Inclusive? We have been established in the UK for 25 years. We are dedicated to providing pioneering and innovative assistive technology worldwide. We are a leading developer of specialist software and online resources, including Help Kids Learn, and we are proud to be winners of multiple business awards. We have a huge range of valued business partnerships throughout the world, across some 38 countries. And we have an industry-leading returns policy. We are members of the British Assistive Technology Association, ATIA and ISAC, and we are a founder member of DAT Europe. I'm excited to present to you Cosmo. Cosmo is an award-winning, versatile resource. It is designed as an interactive therapy and inclusive training system. It's been designed to help train motor skills, turn-taking, communication and more, and it consists of two parts: a set of light-up multicolour Bluetooth switches and an iPad app featuring some 18 intuitive activities. Cosmo supports the development of joint attention, turn-taking, choice-making, collaboration, motor skills, language, sequencing, weighting, transitions, storytelling, and sensory awareness. This video provides an excellent overview of Cosmo and the exciting activities that it includes.
Ένα, δύο. Θυμάσαι ποια ήτανε? Για να σε δω.
But where was Giant?
Where's the giant?
Okay, can you press now?
Where was the giant? Find orange.
Orange.
Ready, steady,
1, 2, 3.
red. Yay! Give me 5. Yeah.
Puedo hacer lo δύσκολο.
As well as Cosmo Explore and Cosmo Excel, you can purchase Cosmo Switch as a standalone Bluetooth interface for tablets, mobile phones and computers. The Switch is highly responsive and ruggedized. It lights up in a variety of colours and enables Switch access to accessible apps or software on iOS, OS X, Chromebooks, Windows and Android devices. You could use it to access AAC software, games or music playback. You can even use it for environmental control via IFTTT for calls, lights and more. The great thing about the Cosmo Switch is it has standard mounting holes on the base so that you can easily position it using an industry standard mounting arm. And there's also a pack of magnets supplied with the Switch so you can actually position it easily around a room if you wish to.
Hello everyone, I'm Ian, Information Manager here at Inclusive Technology, and I'd like to tell you all about Skyle for iPad Pro. Now, Skyle for iPad Pro is the first and only eye gaze device for iPad. It's compatible for iPad Pro 12.9 inch, 3rd, 4th and 5th generation models. The eye tracker is supplied in this case with a VESA mounting interface, so it will connect with a mounting plate to a rear adapt or daisy mounting system. There is a charging port on the side of the eye tracker, which allows you to charge the iPad whilst using the eye tracker at the same time. There's also a socket on the other side of the eye tracker here, which allows you to connect a switch. So that means the switch will enable a selection rather than using dual control to do that. You set up the eye tracker with the free Skyle app here, available on the download on the App Store. So let's have a look at the Skyle app now and show you what features are available. Now, the Skyle app actually is all fully eye gaze accessible. I've just disabled, you can disable it here, so eye gaze doesn't have any effect. So I'll show you the app now. So first of all, we can set how many calibration points will appear when you're setting up the eye tracker. So you have a choice of 1, 2, 5 or 9 point calibration. We can also set the stepped calibration option. Now, what that means is for the person supporting the eye gaze user, they'll be noticing that the eye gaze user is looking in the correct area of the screen where those points are appearing, and then touching the screen for the next point to appear. So they won't appear automatically. It's a form of manual calibration, if you will. Now, in terms of the calibration pointer itself, we can leave that as the default option, which is this yellow circle on a dark background you can see here, which has this pulsing effect, which you can actually turn off if you just wanted the static image there. We can also set a background on that as well. But on the calibration pointer, we can set it to an emoji symbol. So if you had an eye gaze user that wasn't very fully engaged with the calibration process, we can set it to an emoji and have all these emoji categories to choose from here. So I will set this to this football here, okay? And again, you can choose to have the pulse animation if you want. You can change the size of the calibration pointer there, okay? So if you had a user with a visual impairment, that'd be very beneficial. We can enable a pause function on the eye tracker. So if I enabled that, it means if I then look directly into the eye tracker here, it will pause the eye tracker, it will deactivate eye gaze access. So that might be quite handy if the eye gaze user is maybe watching something or reading something on their iPad. They don't want the mouse cursor constantly moving with their eye movement, so they can just deactivate it by looking in the eye tracker for a few seconds, and then when they want to have it working again, just look at it again for a few seconds to reactivate it. Okay. As I mentioned before, we can enable or disable eye gaze access in the Skyle app here. We can also adjust the dwell time when we're selecting any of these options for eye gaze here. We can also adjust the scroll speed, so how fast this vertical movement is with eye gaze. That's all adjustable there. Now, with all these settings, you can save as a profile. You can create a profile in the Skyle app, save the settings. So if you have a number of users accessing eye gaze on this device, they're all saved. It isn't is in the case that you have to reset up each user during the session. Just click on their name and begin using eye gaze. So once we're happy with our settings, we can click the calibrate to start the calibration process. So you can see there, here's the positioning window, just indicating whether I'm in a good central position to then move on to calibrate. So you can see these guide bars here. So this side guide bar is indicating if I'm too close or too far away from the device. You can see these messages appearing also at the top and the center, indicating whether I need to move a bit closer. This guide bar at the bottom, that's indicating from a good central position to the track. So you can see as I'm moving left to right, that's going to move also. Okay, so as long as they're in the middle, that indicates that I'm in a good position. I'm on a 9 points calibration there. So if I now start the calibration by looking at the start button there, and I look at my 9 footballs that will be appearing across the screen. Okay, so you can see the star rating there indicates how well calibration's done. So if I click done now, I click exit, just to exit, get back onto my iPad home screen. So if I was an advanced eye gaze user, then I could use the assistive touch menu of the iPad to move around the iPad screen. So that's the assistive touch menu, is this menu on the side there. So if I just select that and select scroll, and click scroll left, you see the screen moves to the left. I mean, similarly, if I select touch menu, click scroll right, click anywhere on screen, the screen will move to the previous screen. If I was an early eye gaze user, we could use this with a simple game to develop early eye tracking skills, something like which is one of our own Help Kids Learn games, is a good example of that. So if I click on play, I have the dwell controls set to 1.25 seconds. So if I look at the door and the musician appears, I look at the old man in the bed. Okay, so that works, something like that works quite well because those objects are so large. They're on opposite side of the screen, so it's good for early targeting practice. Okay, so moving on, we can also use Skyle for communication. I'll just click my home button there, get back to my home screen. So something like the Touch Chat app is a good example of a simple communication-based app. So you can see these cells take up 1/4 the size of the screen each. So if I click on social, for example,
hello,
you get that instant message playback there.
How are you? I feel happy.
Okay, or we could go to I want.
I want to eat candy.
Okay, so that's just an example of a very simple communication-based app. Something a bit more advanced, unlike Prolo Quote to Go, with a larger grid size, smaller cells. Still, we can still select these.
I want. Some. Pizza. I want some pizza.
Okay. I'll show you something a bit different now using eye gaze for environmental control. Okay, so connected to my iPad, I have my iClick interface booked. So if I just move my camera around, you can see this here. So the iClick interface has two plug sockets, of which I have this lamp connected to one of them. Now I've taken a picture of that lamp and I've uploaded that into the iClick app and then associated that with a plug socket on the iClick. So if I look at the iClick app, so there's my lamp. So if I then look at the lamp, okay, we'll turn the lamp on, and that will remain on because I've got it set to latched mode until I look at it again to turn it off. Okay, so that's one simple example using eye gaze to control a mains powered on off device. Now there is a different interface box called the Environ, which you can use with eye gaze or environmental control, which is a bit more advanced because you can use it to control devices through infrared, but accept infrared signals. So I have the Environ app installed on the iPad here. I've just created a typical example of a grid on here, so just you can see what sort of things you can control. So you can see along the top here, I have controls for a television, so on and off, channel up and down, volume up and down. We have the mains powered on off devices because it works in conjunction with the iClick app. So, you know, things like the lamps, fans, you know, blenders, also maybe a radio, mains powered radio you could control on off with. Another infrared devices there, so like a music system, you know, skip forward, skip back, volume up and down, etc. So just a few different examples of what you could do using Skyle on an iPad. So not only games based on communication, you know, obviously typical web browsing or accessing any of the apps to watch, you know, films on Netflix or play music, you can all do with Skyle. But yeah, you can also use it for environmental control too. So if you want any further details, then if you click on our app, I'll do this right now. You can see Skyle for iPad Pro there. If I just click my Assistive Touch menu, click scroll there, and you can see all the details on the web page, along with the video here. If it's something like you'd like to learn more about, then if you click on the virtual demos page, then you can find virtual demos that we're offering for Skyle for iPad Pro, as well as the Windows-based version of this eye tracker and the Cosmo that Nadine presented also. Other than that, thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any further questions, Nadine will provide you with my email address at the end of this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for attending our presentation today. Ian and I very much appreciate it. We're sorry to not be there in person, but if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us using the emails listed on screen now. Thank you very much. Goodbye.